live from the Rooster Teeth. Well, I can't do that. I can't say live. It's not live. God damn it, because they're going to be fucking replays. It's your force of habit. Directly from the pages of the Rooster Teeth website, it's the Forum Thread Podcast. Tonight we have Nobod.
Yo.
Chaos Mana.
Hello.
And the loud and noisy Webwave.
Hey, I'm sort of lagging, but, I'm here, so that's what counts.
And after a long absence, I have returned. I am Mr. Fusion. What's going on tonight, guys?
I'm getting weird waveforms on the recording. That's...
Well...
Yeah, I'm getting really weird waveforms. These Turtle Beaches are not helping. It's not birds. It's not cars.
It's Superman.
It's grass. I swear it's the grass. The grass is talking.
What is this?
So while the grass is talking, like there was a bunch of different things that you said that you wanted to bring for the podcast, Fusion.
Well, first off, it's been a few weeks since I've been out, so I'm glad to be back. Starters. The big thing that came out this week that we could touch on first has to be that Microsoft made an announcement of a forthcoming announcement. On the 21st of May is when they're going to announce the new Xbox. I don't know if you guys happen to catch that. Finally, we'll get to know in a little bit over 3 weeks from now. We'll know exactly what type of system we'll be jumping into for the next gen console for Microsoft.
I think it's one thing I just don't understand is why they need to make an announcement for the announcement.
I agree. I mean, like the whole thing with, well, yeah, I agree with that. Well,
I guess.
But the problem I have is with the PlayStation 4 announcement, they didn't even show the damn unit. They just talked about it and picked up and showed a remote on camera and. Okay, all right, thanks guys, thanks for coming. I mean, if they're gonna do a formal announcement like they're planning to do, they show the unit, they show the specs. They need to answer a lot of the what the critics are talking. You go to Kotaku, Gizmodo. The big thing people are talking about is the constant online connection, the no longer using of used games, things like that. They definitely need to, if they want to silence the critics and appeal towards their fans, they need to address all that. So it has to be it can't be just a simple, here's the console, here's the price, and we're going to show a bunch of, a bunch of cinematic scenes from games, and okay, thanks everybody for coming. It's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah, one thing that I think a lot of systems would make at least a little bit more money on is why don't they like backwards compatibility? I mean, for the Xbox, they had only a couple games that could go over the 360. But PlayStation is a lot better about that from 1 to 2, and for a certain amount of time from 2 to 3. Like they had the...
Part of it just might be the hardware and the software involved, because you can't run like DOS programs in Windows. It might be the same thing. It might be a completely different system that they use to play those games than it is in the current generation or the next generation.
But wouldn't they be able to script out emulators on these next-gen consoles that can handle that?
Yeah, it seems really simple. I mean, if they already have the software that can play it, they just have to slide it in. Maybe you could even have it so that a backwards compatibility one was $20 extra because there's more software involved. I'd pay...
Well, it might also be
I'm more
stuff
interested
like
in the hardware, honestly.
archive directories and shit like that.
Well, I'm a lot more interested in the hardware because, honestly, hardware-wise, Xbox 720 and the PS4 are going to be very identical. Like, they're both using, what is it, the AMD Jetwire?
An x86 processor.
I wonder if they're ever going to have, like, the next one after those two and the next Wii is just going to be this big fusion of all of them, like a three-way system. It's going to be the game hub.
Well,
Actually, the one difference between hardware in the two of them is Xbox is supposed to have a better graphics card.
That'll be helpful.
Which will be
It's
a
going to be
change
very
because the
helpful.
past two
It's
systems, Sony had a better graphics processor, if I recall correctly, right?
I thought it was Xbox that had the better.
Was it? You're right because the PlayStation 2 had already been out for like a year, year and a half, I think, before the Xbox popped out to the market.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much how it is.
I hope they release it with 16 gigabyte hard drives because I keep hearing that
What?
they're only going to have
You mean
8
the
gigabyte
Wait,
RAM?
hard
if
drives
everything's supposed to
for
be
the
online and no
720.
discs, how would that work? Okay,
They're going to have discs.
Well,
I'm fairly
from
sure
what
they're all
my
going to be
understanding
Blu-ray.
is, the primary processor is an 8-core processor, and they're going to include a 500 gig hard drive, 16 gigs of
okay, that's
RAM,
better.
and there's going to be a secondary processor that while you're playing a game, it will install it in the background. Also, if you purchase games through this is just the rumors, but they're kind of tying this into how Sony's setting it up. There's background downloading and installation of games, so the system, if it's plugged in all the time and it goes into a sleep mode, if you purchase games and they sell them via on demand, they will install in the system in the background with usage of the secondary processor. If I understand correctly, that's what they're doing. That way, it doesn't take away from the gameplay.
Well, I mean, you can already download in the background while you're playing games now.
Not always. I mean, it depends on if you're
I
pulling.
mean, you can't play the game that you're down. Like,
Yeah,
if you're trying to upgrade it, you can't really play
but
that.
that's
But
you can do both though. You can if it's a game if you're playing a game that's been installed. From my understanding on the PlayStation 4, if you're playing a game that's been completely installed on the 500 gig hard drive, it will also the system on the secondary processor will be installing uh, a second game or whatever content, anything like that will be installing onto the box while you're playing off of the stored game too. So it has dual functions to it.
well,
That's
I hope the
rather
files
nice.
aren't too big because some people have massive game libraries of many, many discs, and they also fill up their hard drives
Oh,
with different
yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So
Did you recently see the pictures I posted? I have a rather
yeah, so
extensive game
why
library.
would they want to make all those things worthless, or at least not? Well, they might gain some might gain some worth because they'll now be rare. Fine, because we're not going to be making anymore. Doesn't that mean like most of the video game stores will probably go out of business unless there's like used games completely?
Well, that's the fear with the rumor that Microsoft is going with no used games, that it'll shut out businesses. It'll hurt businesses like GameFly and GameStop significantly because they don't like the fact that once the game's been purchased the first time, that it can change hands multiple times. They feel like they're losing out on potential customers, but I think personally with used games that creates an interest in games and additional content. So let's say let's say I have Mass Effect 3 as an example. I play through it and I can pass it over to Wub and he can play it and then we can each purchase the downloadable content on our own units, but we still technically share the same game. But I mean that I think the return on that's better because we don't know the situation for each user, and especially when these units and these games are purchased by parents primarily. They're gonna it's gonna put a damper on their market. I think that's what I think.
I wonder. Like it seems like since they're making these for the gamers, I think they should respect a large amount. I think maybe half or maybe less than half, like 45% would are just going to be like, and they won't mind too much. I don't think a whole bunch of people are saying this is the best thing ever. Like I would be fine if they had a choice for an all on game, I mean on online library, or for it to be offline, just to have a slot. Hey, you could even sell an Xbox without the slot, and it would be thinner or something like
Well,
that,
the
or it would be
the
cheaper.
big problem I think that would arise from this whole thing with no use games is, now kids now or people now, when you buy a game, if you don't like it or the replay value is bad, you just turn around and sell it on Craigslist for a bump down in price. So if a game now is $66 with tax, I can go and turn around a couple days later after I play through it and sell it on Craigslist for $40, and that person has, they've gotten a deal. I've gotten significantly more than going and trying to trade it into a used place like GameStop where they'll offer me $20 for it,
Oh
$25.
yeah.
I think the problem with that is that it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna harm the fact that people are gonna stop buying. They're just gonna they're just not gonna buy the additional content and things like that they were selling before, and it's gonna turn people away because they're gonna say, I can't afford this. I can't afford to spend $66 for a new game every single time. And so if Joe Schmo has a son and he has his console and his son has a console, they can only play that game on one console. That just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, and oh, you can only download it once, is that it?
The the idea was, from what I understand, these are just the rumors that are coming from sources within Microsoft's gaming division, that if uh, if you purchase a game and you have an Xbox Live a family account, it only works on the units that account is registered on. So if you have two or three systems in your house, it shouldn't be a problem. But let's say I I mean, like kids, they can't buy this game and take it to their friend's house to play because that unit won't play that game. It's been registered to that
Well,
game.
can't well would you still be able to, like, I know with Xbox you can import your um what's it called, gamer tag, and then it'll be on that Xbox now, and then you can also download the files that are associated. At least hopefully they'll be able to do something like that, but it's still, if you wanted to bring over, like, if Halo 5 was for the next Xbox, it'd be hard to just,
Halo 5 is for the next Xbox. It's actually releasing with the Xbox.
then it would be really, really hard. I'm
As
guessing a game like that is going to be a massive file size, so you can't just take it over to someone that hasn't played it before and show them, hey, this is a new game. Makes it really hard.
You guys want to talk about new games for the new Xbox
Well,
720?
what games are there? Do you know?
Yeah, I did research on this. They're gonna have like Rainbow Six Patriots, a game called Watch Dogs, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Cyberpunk 2077, which I'm rather excited about, Dragon Age 3, which is gonna be boss, Battlefield 4, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Not really sure what that is. I haven't done any research on that. Thief. I keep hearing stuff about that. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Who's ever heard of Assassin's Creed? Sniper Elite 3, which Sniper Elite's pretty
Yeah.
much the same thing over and over again, but it's really cool and definitely worth it. And Pro, like, there's this soccer game and there's Halo 5.
And this is just for the Xbox, or what about the PlayStation?
I don't care about PlayStation.
Well, so no, but if they say it has to have a constant online connection, that doesn't kill it for you for the Xbox. You're gonna jump into the new Xbox no matter what.
Well, I'm gonna jump into it no matter what, but that's actually just a rumor. There's nothing that's
Well,
specifically saying that you're gonna have to have
that
online all the
would
time.
cut. I'm guessing that there's at least a fourth of the gamers, like the Xbox owners in the United States, we'll just focus on that, that don't have a steady online connection. So that would
Oh
be,
yeah.
people like maybe even WebWave that would always drop out every now and then. Well, that would be a significant problem if you weren't able to keep online. So that's like an entire chunk of your market gone. And since
as a Steam user, I have to download all my games, and it's
did,
basically like what everyone's talking about as far as constant online. That's what I have to put up with. Except that Steam allows you to play offline, which is cool, but
yeah, see,
sometimes
that
it
would be
will
nice. I mean,
require you to
if you wanted to buy
will
games,
require you
obviously you'd have.
sometimes to have a internet connection occasionally.
If you had to buy games, obviously you'd have to get online, but it'd be nice if it was just a choice.
Yeah, like you said, nobody. It is just a rumor, but I don't know if you remember last summer,
Yeah.
the rumor came out that both units were going to do that, and fan backlash, and then both Microsoft and Sony shut up pretty quick about that. Then at the beginning of this year, it came out again about Microsoft doing it, and then a couple months ago when Sony announced the PlayStation 4, they didn't really touch on too much about it. They just showed a lot of gameplay, like with Watch Dogs, which I think it looks like a really good game. But they ended up answering questions like that via Twitter. I remember fans were tweeting, "Well, hey, is this going to have to always be online or not?" And Sony's response was, "No, it's not going to have that." What about used games? They say, "No, that's not going to be an issue. You can still play used games on units." So Sony addressed that
Oh,
after their announcement. My thing is because to stem the tide of frustration with fans, I say Microsoft comes out, on the 21st of May and lets it all out. If they show the unit, show some gameplay, show the controller, which apparently hasn't deviated much from the 360. Any new features like the onboard, the Wi-Fi card, all of these features that they are talking about, and the new dashboard that's more socially networked, tied into social network, they need to just let it all out in the press conference. We've heard rumors of this. If they're gonna allow used games, they need to bring that out. Yes, you're still gonna be able to purchase used games. If it's not gonna have instant online connection, they need to say, and for this fear that you have to be online all the time, no, that's not gonna be the case.
it'd be even cooler if you could play. I mean, I definitely don't expect them to go all the way back to original Xbox games, like the small list that they have for the 360. But it'd be cool if you could play all the 360 games on the 720. If you could do that, I would be wanting to upgrade with no problem, because it would just be a better system running the same games. And if you had like your saved data on cloud, you could just bring it over or on a memory card or whatever. That would be the ideal system, because then you would also have the new games, but you could still go back to the other ones, since I'm guessing you're going to be able to keep your gamertag account with all your achievements to continue getting more. So
That
so
would be
then
really
you
nice.
would have all these games and you wouldn't be able to play them if you had the new Xbox, if it wasn't backwards compatible.
I actually have my Xbox 360 account from my original Xbox account.
You've had it that long.
Yeah, I've had it since original Xbox, and I had to message Bungie and had to do an intricate system of communicating with them to get the thing on there. It was actually really
Well,
annoying.
at least Bungie helped you do that.
Yeah, they did.
Wait, Bungie
Now, do
or Microsoft?
yeah, Bungie. It was. I meant Microsoft. Why did I say Bungie? Did I say Bungie?
Yeah.
That was really
Well, we
Well,
stupid.
didn't we didn't catch it right away.
Well,
Bungie's good too.
I didn't catch it at all. Bungie is great. So, do any of
Has
you
there
want
been
to
any
have like a little
announcements for the
AWU segment?
has there been any
Except
announcement?
not AWU.
Well, what about?
Go ahead.
I can't tell if I'm interrupting or if I'm just lagging. Anyway, has there been any announcements for the Steam box or anything on that? Because I mean, I hate to say it, but that's kind of the only console I really care about.
No, I
The
haven't heard
Steam
anything lately
box.
about Steambox. The
Well,
only thing
I
I've
really
heard
don't.
about was
What
an
is
Android
Steambox?
box, but that was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, so I haven't heard anything about this. Valve is talking about producing their own console, a Steambox.
Yeah, the
with
Valve Steam
with
box.
the like
Wow.
what the RT guys said with like Half-Life 3, Portal 3, like that would be coming all in a bundle.
That was the idea, yeah. And there hasn't been much talk. I don't know. I think Valve was at E3 last year that made kind of a I don't know. It's been a year already, but I don't remember if they had a sample or if they like a demo or if they just showed video of it, like of the interface. But since last year, I haven't heard a single thing in regards to a Steam box.
Yeah, I know
It'd
nothing
be
about it.
Nice of it.
it'd be really nice. I mean, that'd be great for me since I normally game on either a laptop or my desktop. I would like to be able to have the console experience and not having to worry about if my shit's gonna work. However, I'm not gonna probably go and buy a console.
Well, usually you don't have to worry about too many. I mean, I've never had a console problem other than when there was this time when I dropped my PlayStation 2 and then it wouldn't turn on again. So we went brought it to the shop and they couldn't get it to work. So they at least managed to extract the disc that was in there, so I could still keep that.
That was really nice then.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to play a console, but all my games are on Steam, and I like Steam because Steam's a good service. But
Well, I
it would be
mean,
really nice to just be able to sit down and play them.
you can, yeah, it'll take a little bit of money to start off with, but you can get like just get well, it's a bit too late since the newer ones are coming out, but if you could have just gotten the Xbox and gotten just a couple games. I mean, I don't have too many games for the Xbox 360, but I have a
I mean,
small little set.
I prefer Steam, and if Steam came out with a console, I mean, that'd be like the greatest thing ever for me. That'd make my
Now wait, because if a Steam box does come out, it's going to have a price point of around $200 to $300. You're saying you would dish out the 300 some odd dollars for the Steam box, but not say $300 or $400 for a console, right?
Especially, what if other
Well, because
consoles played the same
Yeah.
games and more? I mean, I don't see what point there would be in introducing another one when there's already good working ones. I bet the only selling point of this box would be that there's certain games that you can only play on it, and that would be it. And if you really wanted to play it, then it would be
Well,
worth it to
the
buy
main
a
way Valve would
box.
be able to jump in on the consoles with the Steam Box and still be competitive and successful would be that the Steam Box would be able to integrate with your PC account and your game. So, let's say you purchase Far Cry 3 on Steam and it's on the Steam Box and it's on your PC. That's the only way I would see that be where they can compete in terms of the console market. Because I think I think Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, they have that down. They have it on lockdown. That's what I think.
That'd be interesting to see if a fourth party ever rose.
Well, and I know that because Steam, I like Steam. I enjoy my Steam account on my PC. I play, I mean, I go back and forth between my PC and my console. That's why I have everything in my home office on one giant workstation with several monitors. Because if I feel like I want to play Halo, I can play Halo on one TV and watch TV on the other monitor, or I can go back and forth. But I just I like Steam a lot, but my feeling is Microsoft's trying to cash in with the success of Steam and their online setup, but I think they're taking it too far into an area where it's going to frustrate fans, and you can't frustrate a lot of the simple fans. That's where you turn away people. So that's why I'm like they don't need to do that. So
Yeah, that's a bit. I think one thing that doesn't seem to be happening a lot is a lot of companies seem to be ignoring the actual people that are playing the games more and more. If they listen to it, I mean, yeah, sure, everyone's going to say this or that to, ooh, this would make it better. If they just took general, maybe even surveys or whatever they feel like doing, watching the big news people, like even if they like watch the RT podcast for stuff like that,
uh-huh.
just watching what other people are saying about their systems and about how they feel and bounce off of that, not just going with how they are and only doing something if a business decision absolutely crashes them.
Yeah. Well, in speaking of next gen and next phase of games, I think Wub wanted to touch on something in regards to upcoming games, right, Wub?
Oh, that was no bud.
That was
Oh,
me.
no, but my
That was me.
bad.
That was really smooth. That was really smooth. Well, I thought, we could start with games that people are really going to be looking forward to, like the really popular ones. Like we could start with not the new Rainbow Six. I'm going to start with Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where we have, I hear it's going to be about, a British pirate.
British?
That's going to be the pirate. The British pirate is going to be the member of the Assassin's Order. not to get people confused like the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3. And he's gonna be like the father, freaking grandfather or something. It's gonna be really confusing, but he's gonna be a relative of the people from Assassin's Creed 3. And then so
So far, I've only played Brotherhood.
they're all completely worth it.
Yeah, they definitely seem like very fun games. I might go back and play two, though I don't
Yeah,
know
and
if I could handle one.
they really touch up on history stuff, and like they really get into depth and get things pretty much right, which is what I really liked about Assassin's Creed 3, because it took place around in my area, because I live right. I could probably walk to my house in Assassin's Creed 3, and
Do you
yeah,
think they're ever gonna
that's
get like what they ever gonna do? Say World War II?
Or like a
I mean,
Vietnam, like more of a
more
modern.
more modern
Yeah.
and maybe even
oh
modern
they're
day.
gonna
Like you're gonna be an
yeah they're
assassin
gonna get
over in
there.
the current wars.
You're gonna be a freaking assassin in Warhammer 4000 or 40,000K, whatever it is. Well, right now they're in like the golden age of piracy in like the Caribbean and
Now,
stuff.
wasn't much of this
Is what
gameplay
what I'm
meant to
fairly sure.
be for 3, but they in development they realized they were basically creating instead of DLC a standalone game.
Um, I'm not sure. That would make a lot of sense though, because I'm hearing that the naval exploration and stuff, like there's gonna be naval
Oh,
Yeah, and
exploration.
like you're gonna actually be able to steer a
Much,
yeah,
boat.
there was from what I if I remember correctly,
yeah,
I read that
it's
they were initially were going to put this as part like the idea, the concept into DLCs for 3,
Well,
and it just started taking a life of its own, and they just said, screw it, we can just do a whole game on this with a pirate.
how would that work? Would that make it more open world? Like just running around from quest to quest instead of just kind of.
um no, the where it's gonna take place is it's gonna be in three major cities. Like I think one's in Havana, Kingston, and
I don't know where those are.
Nassau. Well, they're all in the Caribbean. I'm fairly
Oh,
sure.
you're gonna be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
I see.
And yeah, I guess I heard it. Yeah, it's probably gonna have more of an
So a little
open
bit
world
more
What they
feel,
sandbox.
should,
even though it's gonna
they
be
they better. Would be
yeah.
awesome is if they made a movie reference that only the fans would get, but otherwise they just brush right past everyone else. Like they don't have Captain Jack Sparrow walking walking past the main character.
Oh, doing his little strut, his
That's
Keith
what I was
Richards
Yeah,
gonna
strut.
you just like they kind of bump into each other, and then
you kind of land in the port and like this will be the day that you almost caught Captain Jack
and
Sparrow, and then he's just gonna
when the
like take
main
your boat.
characters are and when the
God
main
damn it!
characters are talking, they see him jumping off a cliff.
That would be kind of fun. The other game, Destiny. I've seen some of the
Oh
gameplay
yeah.
online. This is, in case you don't know, that's
Destiny.
Bungie's next project. It's not you can't say it's an MMO. But it is a multiplayer, kind of a first-person based shooter. And from the look of things, it looks unbelievable. It's kind of has that after it's an After Earth concept.
Is it futuristic like Halo is? It's just going to be kind of
It's
different then?
futuristic, it's on Earth. It's futuristic. If I remember, it's after an alien invasion. The Earth is torn apart, but there are certain pockets of humanity that are left, and I think that their job is to protect the Earth. And you're kind of like futuristic uh, planet police, but they're gonna. Of course, the main thing with Bungie, their bread and butter was the multiplayer online matching. So the fighting. So I'm sure the maps will probably they'll look incredible. But I mean, it looks a lot like a typical Bungie project, except the they've updated their look in terms of like the lighting. It's more realistic and things like that. So I hope the best for Bungie, because I mean what they did with Halo was unbelievable. The online was unbelievable. The story, though the campaign was short, the concept behind the story is unbelievable. So um, yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to is Destiny for sure.
I hope it does well since Bungie has moved away from Halo, which was, obviously their prime game.
Well, and as Rooster Teeth fans, all of us, I mean, we appreciate how they really showed a lot of love to the Rooster Teeth guys throughout the
Yeah,
years.
I think them allowing the Rooster Teeth people to do what they did at the very beginning is the only reason they're as successful today. They might not have even gotten off their feet.
Yeah, all it would have taken was a simple call from Microsoft and Bungie to say, "We don't like this, guys. Shut it down," and we wouldn't be here talking about it right now. It is.
It's beautiful. Now, there's one thing about Halo 5 that I can't find anywhere. What is the storyline going to be about? I can't find anything
Well, maybe
on it.
that's gonna be the surprise.
Well, I've read many of the books, and I know like the storylines of everything, but there's nothing that really points to what they're gonna do next. Cause Halo Reach, they jumped back, and then Halo 4, they kind of skipped some stuff. So I
Well,
don't know.
Maybe
It's
Wouldn't are we
maybe they
risking
do.
fan burnout though? Because Halo 4 came out just not even a year ago, right today, and
Yeah, November
and then
6th.
in the summertime, more than likely at
Wait,
E3 they're going to
when
show the
when
demo.
is the next Xbox? Is it coming out this year?
Well, if they're going to make the announcement in May,
it's
I would assume it would come out in the fall, probably possibly November.
That would mean if it did, then there's a chance that if it comes before November 6th, then it would be less than a year between
Yep,
Halos.
that's
well, that's alright because I'm honestly ready for
Hey, guess
another
what? I
Halo.
was fucking
Well,
muted
Like
the entire
they
time.
they're not going too fast.
I didn't turn my microphone back on. I was like talking. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is no one
Really?
responding to me? Like,
Uh,
alright, fine. I guess I'll just leave. And I was like, oh, my mic's not on. So, not only am I lagging, but I am also not talking.
well, I'm sure you probably
Whoops.
said a few good things while you were muted. Do you have any points you wanted to make about Halo 5?
Halo 5? No, I did not say anything about Halo 5. I did solve a bunch of
Okay.
world problems, though, that now we'll never find out. So, fucking great.
Uh-huh.
He just explained in detail the cure for cancer, and he was just
I
like,
explained
All
the
of life's
plot to Halo
problems.
5.
He broke down
he's
everything.
working for 343.
He gave his bank account number, his credit card number, and we missed all of it. All of it.
Just
but that's alright because all the
no,
money's
I'll
already
repeat
gone.
it for everyone now.
Sorry.
7777779.
Well, okay, so
Dude, someone's gonna try that, and you literally just got someone's money
No,
stolen.
that's a random. I highly doubt anyone would ever get that joke. It's from a really like off on the side. Someone's gonna try that. I don't even know if that's the right amount of numbers for a credit card.
no, it's not. It's 16 digits.
Yeah,
Oh, you were close.
Statistically, someone has to have it.
someone just has a
Unless
credit
they
card with all
just skipped
sevens.
everything that wasn't.
That'd be the.
Well, yeah, it's gonna.
There has to be at least one person in the history, either now or in the future, that will have
It
that.
was probably someone who just got run over by a car right when they got their bank account.
It's complete opposite of Lucky Seven.
Back
I did it. My life is starting now.
back to what you were saying
No.
about Halo 5. I mean, it's just I know you said you have no problem with a new Halo not even a year after 4,
Absolutely
but
not.
I think,
It's
it
gonna be
would
great.
kind of not be a slap in the face, but kind of like, hey, there's a new console, you spend all this money right up front.
I like Halo,
You
but
know
it
what?
seems like they're doing a little too much. I do not feel. I mean, I buy them because it's kind of part of it, but I think they're doing a little bit too much with the DLC because it's. I feel that a DLC should be
Yeah.
an extended storyline and extended other things, not just additional map packs that are as much as this. Like maybe it's not as much as a small DLC
Well, the Halo
or even some
experience, it's
games.
two different games technically. You're you
Honestly,
have
it really
you
is.
have your story with your campaign. That's one game, and then the second game is Red versus
Red
Blue.
versus
I mean,
Blue.
that's basically it. You're paying for two games, which, when you really think about it, if for some reason somebody at 343 happens to be listening, you can send the checks over to me. So, but I mean, you can start charging for two games, and people will still do it. I'm not saying charging twice as much, but if they said, okay, we're going to have this game, but for an additional $10, you can play the online competition. People would still do that, and that's why they buy the map
Well,
packs.
people still will buy a lot of things. I just think that the map packs should be a little bit cheaper than they are, since they're only extra maps. They don't really give you too much
It's
other
because the
than just
demand
being
is very
different
high. I mean,
areas.
as soon as kids bought that, as soon as Halo 4 came out, people ran home and they didn't even play the campaign. They jumped online to start playing, matches. That was the
Oh
first thing
my
they did.
god. The first thing I did was I played Halo 4 on Legendary and beat it in under
I
8 hours.
remember
That's what I do with every
getting
single
it
Halo.
and then like playing it while everyone was talking about the election and like they were singing songs of the person of Obama that after he won.
Uh-huh.
Obama sucks. Send me that text, I dare you. Saying that I can't say that.
You just pissed somebody off. They
.com.
just drove off in anger.
No, no.
They're like, screw
No,
this,
no,
we're out of
it's a
here.
car. It's a car driving up to him to take him away.
The funny part was that was a Mexican too.
I
wait,
can't.
can I
I'm
not
Mexican,
say that?
so I can say that. That was a Mexican.
Okay. I didn't want it to be
It's
racist
okay.
or
You just
anything.
only came across as a mild racist. It's all right. But what were some of the other
Damn
games
it.
you wanted to talk about? I know we talked Assassin's Creed, Halo 5.
Well, actually, I'm just gonna shorten the list of everything I talked about and talk about two other ones I'm really excited about, which is Tom Clancy's
Oh,
Rainbow
no.
Six,
There you go.
and then, well, actually, it's
Uh-huh.
just gonna be called Rainbow Six Patriots. It's not Rainbow Six Six. Why the fuck did I just say Rainbow Six Six?
Patriots.
And Dragon Age 3. I don't remember.
I haven't played any of the
Inquisition or
Dragon
something?
Age games.
They're great, but let's start talking about Dragon Age 3. It's gonna take place in a place called Thetis. It's gonna be like a fantasy world in which, the two previous games are like make up like what really happens. And it's gonna I hear it's gonna like be a lot larger than the map before, which is Ferelden. It's gonna be like,
Is it
5 or
is it
6 times
continuing the
bigger.
story,
I think
or
originally-
how much different is it? Like is it like Skyrim? How it's still the same story, sorta, but it's just
Even Dragon Age 2 wasn't a continuation of the original Dragon Age story. Dragon Age 2 was a completely different story in a completely different place.
Oh yeah, it was a different story. It was a different story that took place right after the hero of Ferelden defeated the Darkspawn.
yeah. So it's sort of
like a
like
year later.
Morrowind and Oblivion. They're different stories, just set in
Yeah.
the same world.
Actually, they're really copying a lot because the Thetis place.
Hey, this new place is going to be covered in snow.
That's
and
what
it's
they
gonna
call
have
it. That's what they call it in. That's what they call it in the place they're in. But when you play Dragon Age 1 and 2, they recognize it as Orlais, the land of Orlais, which is it's basically gonna have like more of a French feel to it. And
Yeah, they took place in the same timeline, like at the same time, just in different locations. Because I remember in what was it, Dragon Age 2, it starts with the destruction of that one town which you encounter in Dragon Age 1, which was kind of cool.
Huh. I did
yeah,
not know
this
that.
one's
See,
about the Civil War.
I tried to jump on the Dragon Ages. At that point, it just seemed like a game that I would get too engrossed in at the time, and I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic when I got Dragon Age 2. So I just kind of, it's been sitting here. But I mean, that's very interesting that they're concurrent storylines that branch off in different directions. I'll have to.
Yeah, actually, the way Dragon Age 3 is going to be branched off of Dragon Age 2 is because the Circle of Magi goes completely rogue because of the events that happen in Dragon Age 2, while at the same time a civil war is going on in Orlais between like loyalists and of the Empress and
I didn't originally,
like a powerful noble
I didn't
faction.
originally like Dragon Age
It
until I
wasn't
found
Dragon
out that you can
Age.
actually
Wasn't
switch
Dragon
between
Age 2?
members.
Doesn't that? I'm.
You just cut him off so bad. Honestly, that was horrible.
Well, I can't blame. I can't. I mean, you can't blame me if what wave has the quietest mic in the world?
He was in
and I'm
mid
also
sentence.
lagging,
He
so
said
I'm,
at least
like,
5 words.
always,
Okay, then.
yeah, I'm
What
always
were you
like talking
saying?
while you're talking because I'm lagging.
What was?
Oh, I was
Okay,
saying
well,
that
Wave,
I
repeat
originally
what you were
didn't like
saying.
Dragon Age because I didn't.
You
Oh,
got
for fuck's
this.
sake! I'm turning my microphone up.
You do what you gotta do.
Okay, I
No,
guess
he
he's
said he's
done.
turning his mic up.
Well,
I'm right here. Can you hear me better?
What were you saying, Wub, about Dragon Age?
Yeah, turn that shit up to maximum volume, and I'm yelling because I was saying I didn't originally like Dragon Age because I didn't realize you could switch between party members, and it felt really weird until I realized that you should play it more like a real-time tactics game than an RPG. At which point it made a lot more sense and it was a lot more fun. So there you go. There was my 5-minute conversation. The only thing I'm going to be able to add because
That's awesome.
Cuts.
yes,
Okay.
that is why.
that was good timing. That is exactly why.
I had, like I said, I haven't jumped on either game. I tried to on my PC, and for Dragon Age 2, it looked like, I mean, I was at max settings, and I'm running, the dual video cards, and it still wasn't enough. So I'm assuming this game is much better on a console. So I may jump on it for the Xbox.
Oh, it is. Like, Dragon Age 1, I guess, would have been a little better for PC than Dragon Age 2, because Dragon Age 2 had a lot more flowing to the combat style. As in, you're not just hitting them once and then stopping like you're playing Knights of the Old Republic or something. Like the old
Yeah,
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
I don't
And
remember.
so-
Can you pause it? Can you pause the combat
What?
in Dragon Age 2? Can you pause the combat in Dragon Age 2?
Not the combat, you have to pause it. Oh, no, actually you can. There's a menu you can open to take potions or to use,
Well, it's important to have. I think all
healing
games should
kit
have
stuff.
the ability to pause whenever. Maybe not to do anything when you pause, but just to.
Well,
No,
no,
it's a menu.
you'd
It's a
like
menu, and
pause
you
it
can,
and
like...
be able to
you can,
queue
like,
up attacks and be able to.
You know, you can
I know.
queue up tactics. You can queue up tactics and potions and stuff. It's like Dragon Age 1. A lot like that. And so Dragon Age 3 is going to be taking like the best of both combat styles, which is why they did Dragon Age 2 like that and why they didn't give Dragon Age 2 any sort of build up. They were just that was like a demo for them of like finding out really good combat. So the combat for Dragon Age 3 is probably going to be some of the most superb like combat we've seen to date.
I'm looking at my
Or the date.
waveform. I am loud as fuck.
It's funny because you sound quieter than the rest of us. I mean, both Nobot and Fusion are louder than you.
Now on this waveform, you should see it's like blowing out every time I talk now.
Is it overmodulated? You need to just, well, I mean, if you bring it down, then we can't hear you, and that's where
Yeah.
we get the and Chaos is talking over you because he doesn't know you're talking.
Plus, Chaos is a dick. So
But
you just interrupted
Yeah.
me anyway.
yeah, that's true.
I
He
like
is a
how he
bit of a
couldn't.
dick, yeah.
He
Wow,
was
I'm
so
loud.
quiet. I couldn't understand what he just called me.
Yeah, he is a bit of. And you're like, yeah, what? I'm a what? I'm a what?
I am so
You
loud.
said what?
The other game
no,
is
I mean
Watch
really. You
Dogs.
said what?
This is so empowering. You should look at my waveform. I feel like an absolute beast. I'm like Noise Marine. I have my Noise Marine going. We are amplified. Yeah,
He's
I'm
going
the
crazy.
shit out of
My
that.
wave's going crazy with sound.
Shout out to us Noise Marines, by the way. Well, I promised
Yeah,
the
shout out to
people one more game I'd go over. That would be Rainbow Six.
Okay. Rainbow Six, go
Rainbow
for it.
Six taking place in New York City, based after a terrorist group that calls themselves the True Patriots. You know, styling themselves off a populist militia group. The True Patriots have taken it upon themselves to act as judge, jury, and executioner on behalf of victims of Wall Street corruption. I am actually paraphrasing. Believe it or not, I did that really well. I did not stutter once.
I'm just
So,
gonna.
yeah, I
we're
read
just
all
gonna
this stuff
edit it so
earlier.
it sounds like you stuttered all over the place.
We're gonna make you stutter.
Now it won't matter.
Wait, so let me get this straight. The concept is there's a terrorist group that are out there supporting the Occupy Wall Street people. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, now that you put it like that,
They're a
this is gonna
violent
be a
they're a
really,
violent group.
yeah, this is gonna be a really realistic like storyline type game. That's that. Now that you put it that way, um,
Well, the problem with that game is if it let's say the timeline wise, let's say the Xbox is announced in May with a release date somewhere in October or November to cash in on the Christmas rush. If that happens, it's let's see, it's not even a year since the
Mm,
bombings by that point in Boston. I think there would probably be a pretty, not a big backlash, but there would be some media backlash, or it would definitely make the
there's
rounds on
always
Talk TV
media
about this game.
craziness when it comes to video games.
Well, and it sucks because the first thing they always do, whenever these shootings or bombings, whenever these things happen, the first thing they go to is, did the kid smoke pot? Did the kid listen to rap or rock music? Did the guys play video games? That's the first thing. It's like they break into their apartments, they search their apartments. They're like they're not looking at the giant pot of gunpowder sitting on the counter. They look over and say, "Oh my God, he has Grand Theft Auto."
I don't
That's what's
understand.
more
Like,
important to them.
it doesn't seem like most of the people. It seems like even though a lot of there are a lot of immature gamers out there, it seems like the people that would be out doing that sort of stuff wouldn't be on video games. Like that's just something that they
honestly, yeah,
wouldn't do. They're out doing it for real.
yeah, like these were
But
college kids.
you always see the B-roll of, if you're watching, and I don't like because of my years working in media, I have learned my lesson. What I do is I take information from, if I'm watching TV or reading online or reading Twitter, I take the information and I generate my own opinion of things, and that's the best way to do it. But what they're doing is, a lot, especially with TV talk, this political talk, they do their best to spin propaganda, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about before I was out the last couple of weeks, especially after the Boston bombings. And I'll touch on it just real quick. It really pissed me off, and I know iWes, who has been on the podcast before, and he's a loyal Rooster Tooth fan too. He was upset by how the media was portraying things, and I guess when he and I kind of had a conversation on the forums, it kind of translated like I was disagreeing, and that wasn't the case, and I wanted to clear that up. It really upsets me how they immediately go and they try to drum up panic and how they present the news. Because if you're watching, CNN is they've lost all credit. What little credibility they had before the Boston bombings, they lost all of it and then some. They owe credibility
What
to the American public
I
now.
wasn't keeping up with the news because I don't usually watch actual television too much anymore.
Loser.
Well,
Who
there's
watches the
Basically,
news?
during the
What am I, 80
whole,
years old?
well, yeah,
I do.
that. If I'm going to watch television, I'm usually not going to put it on the news. I'm going to
Well, I don't
watch.
watch the news. I listen to it. So it's in the background. I'm one of those people that has to have something in the background, whether it's music, some other podcast, or a TV show, or news. Something's in the background while I'm either working or playing games. I just can't, it just that's how I kind of just clear out my mind from
Yeah, I
everything.
usually like to have, especially whenever I'm playing the Old Republic, when I'm just running around back and forth doing stuff, when otherwise I would just be like, so bored sitting there. It's fun to have different podcasts on when I'm doing that.
Yeah, and that's what I would do when I would play World of Warcraft years ago during Vanilla WoW in '04. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I would have podcasts on, watch movies. This is when Winamp used to have a TV station set. I mean, like, Winamp, the MP3 program had Shoutcast would broadcast TV streams, and there was a stream where someone put up the first two seasons of Red versus Blue and loop them, and I would watch that while I'm playing. Well, I'm one of those people, so I would hear radio news, and I was being told by friends of mine that they're kind of they follow whatever they're told on TV. They're like, wow, CNN is just being crazy today. And a buddy of mine who just he loves to mock things was like, you should hear some of the shit CNN's doing right now. Like this reporter is on the scene. They're trying to catch this guy, and she's acting overly dramatic. She's like, oh my God, there's a dog barking. We don't know if it's canine or not. Oh my God, somebody's moving over here." And they were just, it made a mockery of of what was transpiring. Was that the city was on lockdown. They were trying to catch this guy, and
I
CNN all the
Guys,
while was
there's a
making it a
group of people
circus act.
that they were trying to catch.
well,
Well, yeah,
also, like, there's two things that I want to say about it. One is that for events like this, like what Bernie said about how people, they might be bad events, but one thing is that if we let it get to all of us, if we let, because they're a bigger weapon, people are always dying, but their big weapon is the fear. Like
yeah.
that's what they're trying to go for. And if we let it all get
I hate
to us,
I hate to quote
what?
I hate to quote Stalin, but he did have a quote that said, "One person dying is a tragedy, but a million people dying is a statistic."
Yeah, it's basically like that. And this other thing that I saw someone, and I mean I haven't followed the this event too much, but if they have already confirmed that the certain people did it, but if some people are just suspects, like they don't have any proof that they have done it, and they were already treating them like they're the worst people ever. Like, what if this had just been a completely innocent person that just happened to be on the scene of the crime, something like that?
Well, and I understand that argument where people were saying, this guy is innocent until proven guilty. Well, the moment he proved himself guilty was when they went to arrest these brothers. They started up a shootout and were throwing grenades at the cops. They're at that point they're no longer just suspects on this case. They are guilty of
Yeah,
something.
see, I didn't know about that, but
Yeah,
I
I
was
didn't know
just
about
saying
that
that as
either.
an objective.
I made that mistake.
Yeah, and I don't want to go into full detail about it because it's been a few weeks
Oh
now,
yeah,
and
it's
but
definitely been explained everywhere.
yeah, and my biggest concern is just with the media in general. A lot of these parents that watch these stations and they take it and whatever is reported becomes news to them. It bothers me because whenever you see B-rolls on all these news networks, and if you don't know what B-roll is basically during talk TV they show video in the background of random things, whether it's the incident, the scene, the bombings, just video. They call it B-roll. They show B-roll, and when they start discussing about why these people do these horrible things, they always show rap videos. Every time you can see a rap video, a rock video in the background at some point. Video games, it's usually Grand Theft Auto, but then they'll show other games too. But that's where it's like, okay, really quit trying to create a stigma that isn't there, because we haven't yet had anything major that where someone's caused a terrorist act or caused harm on a lot of people, and they've gone on record saying I did it because of video games. That's where it's like the whole innocent till proven guilty
Well,
thing should be
there
coming
was
into.
Somebody's gonna do that out of spite now. Good job.
Yeah, it will. It will.
yeah, there was one case where someone did say that it was because of a video game, but they were just trying to get
Yeah,
out of
that's
it.
what I mean.
That's
They're
like
just
saying,
it
I
just
did it because I'm
'cause.
insane. Now put me in an insane asylum instead of.
I'd
Yeah, it's
hate
like
that.
Was
pleading
it the kid that
insanity.
killed
I mean,
his parents?
no
Was
one
that the
has
kid that killed his
actually.
parents? Wub,
With the
that
katana?
said he killed his parents. No, he killed his parents because they wouldn't let him play Halo, right?
Literally, they killed him because of video games.
I don't know.
Okay, there was a kid a few years ago. Then
Jeez, my waveform is so.
it's kind of funny that
Well,
they're always showing these videos,
even
but the
if that
one
was
time that the kid, go ahead. Whoops, sorry, what was that, Chaos?
well, even if that was a true case, it's not because of the video game. It's because of
No.
the child's mind state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he's fucking insane. I mean,
I agree.
my parents have told me not to play video games all the time. It doesn't mean
Yeah,
I kill
just-
them.
I
Hey,
just
that's
played
where
video
that's where
games.
parent that's where
Because I'm not
Well,
fucking
yeah, that's
crazy.
where parenting comes into play. It's like if you know you have a kid that's fucking mental, don't go and buy him video games, and don't do that. Like this whole thing with the Newtown, Connecticut kid. He was autistic. He had social anxiety. He was introverted. All that stuff. I understand he's a messed up human being. I understand all that. But you know what? The mom shouldn't have went and bought and filled a house full of fucking guns. Okay? It's like What did you expect was going to happen? At some point, you're just like, here's a bunch of guns, but don't touch them, Junior. We know you're ill. Don't touch them. Just look at them. What the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Probably chew on it.
All that aside, it's like my feeling is they need to stop attacking video games because as much as they want to say that they're detrimental, they are a very good outlet for a lot of people. They're like for me, they're my release of whatever daily grind I go through and work in life. I just come home, unplug, and play games. That's my relaxation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people are like
And
that.
for some people, it's their life. Like, I use video games to, fulfill myself, and not masturbation. That kind of sounded weird. But, no, I take pride in the fact that I go completely MLG sometimes, and, I do rather well in COD and Halo and stuff, and I try to be the best, and I need that.
Have you seen that? There's just one image that was rather funny. It said video games were the #1 cause of violence against video games, and in one of the picture was someone trying to get a game cartridge to work, and this other person was someone shouting at a scratched disc.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean that's more likely to cause violence than actual video games. Is trying to get those fucking N64 cartridges to work.
Oh,
Definitely,
man.
I remember that. That was the days.
And this is before you guys' time. I had to deal with the old NES cartridges when I was a kid.
Same.
People would blow into those things like mad.
Yeah, it even specifically says, do not blow into this, do not insert anything into this. If anything, you're supposed to take a Q-tip and gently swab it, which probably would still mess it up.
Yep.
Oh man.
There's nothing you could do. Once those things were messed up, they were messed up. They were gone.
But speaking of video games and the media, didn't Fox News say that Bulletstorm would cause rapes or something?
That sounds like fun. Yeah, we should go rape people.
Yeah, that sounds like Fox News, all right.
I've seen a playthrough of Bulletstorm. How would you make that connection?
People getting raped.
I think
Bullets.
because they say the word dick like 20 times a second. Like every time you shoot your gun, it should say dicks every time you do it.
Dick, 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 dick.
But I find that so funny.
Instead of the normal machine gun sound, it's actually a repeat of someone saying that word.
What if that happened in COD? That would kind of suck. Someone's using a Scorpion with rapid fire and extended mags. That would be incredible.
But what's funny about it is
You
that,
could probably just turn on the in-game mic and hear it from everyone else.
they're like the military. They're testing their guys and how they react in combat on simulations like Call of Duty now. So it's like, okay, shouldn't you be praising video games?
If
now?
someone's sitting in that corner, what do? Well, I'm going to turn the corner and I'm going to tomahawk them.
Exactly.
I'm gonna 360 no scope the Taliban because I'm so MLG.
I'm just gonna lob a grenade.
Like, if they say that,
Yeah,
that's how you know that. No, you're not going to war.
Even I don't know how well this would do, but what if a soldier that was actually fighting over there did a jump in air and actually recorded himself sniping the enemy?
Well, that's what our viewers are for. They are now going to go on YouTube and find a video of that for us because they are nice. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Well,
Why aren't you on YouTube yet?
If it was if it was an
Oh, wait.
actual soldier in the battlefield doing it.
Wait a minute, they're on YouTube listening to us right now. So,
But they can open up.
I used to watch a bunch of military history shows, and I do know that there was a soldier who got a collateral in real life where he actually hit 2 people with 1 round.
that happens all the time.
Well, I
and
mean,
that's
that's
MLG.
That's probably happened before a couple times.
Snipers actually try to do that all the time. That's like in their job. Like they can.
I think
I've heard of a sniper get.
I think the
court-martialed
record was
because he didn't hit
3
2
people through a wall, which
What?
I know that I think the record was hitting 3 people through a wall, which he should get 10th prestige, like an honorary 10th prestige. Like, you know how they give out honorary degrees?
Yeah.
Give him an honorary 10th prestige.
That'll fulfill his life. Yes, I've killed 3 people with 1 shot. Now I am a 10th prestige in a video game.
I may be a raging alcoholic, but I have prestige now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You get new camo for your sniper rifle.
It's got bacon on it.
Like they should send him like a custom Call of Duty skin for his actual sniper rifle. It says, like,
Yo,
10 prestige
I want
on
that.
it.
I want that kawaii, the kawaii camo. That's what I use on every
kawaii
single
camo.
Wait,
gun.
what?
The Arctic camo. That's what I want.
The kawaii camo. It's one of the DLC camos.
Oh my gosh, what does that
I
look
want
like?
the golden
It's
gun.
got pandas and it's like pink and it's got all this stuff on it. Freaking get some Google images up on that. Just look it up.
Oh my gosh.
It looks awesome. It looks boss, and I use it on every single gun. Forget the bacon one, kawaii.
It's like in
Panda murder.
Metal Gear. It's like in Metal Gear Solid 3, where you can get the different face cams, like the. I almost said bukkake. What's it called? The Japanese dancer girls. What are they called?
Prostitutes.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Geishas.
Kabuki?
Geishas?
Yeah, you can get like a geisha camo. Not the bukkake camo. No, the
Not the bukkake one. That's gross.
No, was it
Strippers?
kabuki?
There's
I'm for some reason thinking of that word. I don't know why.
Kabuki is the kind. I think it's the type of show.
I think that's.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, I think that's the
I don't remember.
official name that they gave it, but it was like a geisha camo or stuff
Cool.
like that.
Oh yeah,
Well,
that
Kabuki.
sounds-
You get the American
Kabuki
flag
is a
on your
Japanese
face.
soap opera, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think Kabuki is kind of like the Japanese soap. Not opera. I'm sorry, not soap opera. Opera.
Oh well, I think that might have. I know what he's talking about. There's like certain skins that are like special. I think
Yeah,
it's face.
I think
I
they
don't
have,
think it's a camo. I think it's the face paint.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Geisha
face
are
paint,
the
whatever.
dancers, by the way. Geisha.
Yeah, like
dancers.
geisha.
Well, we're running late on this podcast.
Although I'm still looking.
How long have we been recording?
I have a minute 5. At
Now that I can actually hear you, you're gonna fucking end the podcast. God damn
Yeah,
it!
I'm running a minute.
We
and
don't
3.
have to end quite yet.
Yeah, because I actually have one more
Yeah,
thing
don't.
to say about Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. If you're gonna play it on computer, just don't, because it's not using Epic's real engine, like the Epic's Unreal Engine.
what
it's
what
not-
engine will they be using for the PC version then?
I have no idea. They have not even said yet.
A steam engine.
I don't think that's gonna be a real engine like that.
A steampunk Tom Clancy.
And also, there's a question that I have from How do you pronounce Tijanli?
Tijanli, I think.
TG Janley.
That's I saw that question. It was,
Yeah.
Oh, Tangela?
Tijanli.
There's an interesting way to phrase what would be a common question.
Yes. How do you want to be remembered after you are dead or decaying? So basically, how honored would the maggots be to eat your flesh? Well, honestly, how I want to be remembered is as a billionaire musician person who got a bunch of money for doing
Supreme
something.
Overlord of the universe. I'm gonna put that on my tombstone.
with a URL underneath it.
I would
No,
like my
no, they're
tombstone
gonna
to
say
say,
it's
"Here
gonna
lies
start-
Patrick,
www.
you don't give a fuck."
I don't know.
All I heard was,
Is it-
you don't give a fuck. And now I think you said something rather mean. And I would like you to leave the podcast.
I didn't. I just said I would like my tombstone to say that.
Hey, now that I'm loud, I can talk over Chaos. How does that feel, Chaos? Now that I'm loud.
Suck it, but he's
I'm
still
not trying
lagging.
to talk over anybody.
His lagging voice is going over you. How do you feel?
Is it really?
Yeah. It
No,
was.
it's not that bad.
Or it would have been.
Oh.
Well,
right then.
to answer that question, it's not really that tough in that I just want to be remembered as I lived a simple life and I didn't complicate it. That's simple. I mean, my goal is, which I'm old as it is, but when I retire, my goal is to be a gamer in my 60s. That's what I want to do for my retirement. Not go fucking fishing all day, not get in an RV and drive all over the country. It's to be able to have a giant screen TV and play video games.
Okay.
That's what I want to do when I
So
retire.
on the
So-
honorary maggot flesh eating scale, would you be 1 to 10?
Okay.
1 to 10.
I would probably be a 4. I'm gonna say a 4.
I'm probably going to be a 9.
I didn't hear what you said, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10. Always 10.
Well, yeah, supreme ruler of the universe, of course. They're going to like that. Except you're probably going to be floating in space, and unless there's space maggots, which is a very scary thought, honestly.
I would.
I don't think you're gonna.
Wub won't be dead.
Space
He'll
nuggets.
be the first person to have his brain transplanted into a RoboCop. That's what Wub's gonna do. He's gonna be a RoboCop.
RoboCop. I like this. RoboCop episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's why this is RoboCop episode. Forget everything else we said. This is RoboCop episode. There's
We already talked about Metal Gear Revengeance, so I can't bring up cyborgs anymore.
Who says you just brought it up? Let's talk about cyborgs, guys.
Cyborgs are awesome.
Dude, cyborgs are fucking dope.
Dude, the cool thing about cyborgs is you can't tell if they're still human.
Well, they can
You're
make
talking about
humanoid
the
Or how
androids.
human they are.
Well, that's not a cyborg though. That's more like not a cyborg.
Androids
on
are
the
robots
scale
that
of-
look like humans.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like
Cyborgs are humans that
Like in
have
Fallout.
robotic parts.
So-
like in Fallout 3, like that android who didn't know they were an android. And he learns he's an android, and he just like, whatever, I'll just fucking go with them. Or you help him get away. He gives you this really nice plasma weapon. It's a really fucking good gun.
Oh yeah, I turned him in.
Yeah, I know things.
I remember when I played Fallout. Yeah, I played Fallout 3. I was like the evilest motherfucker in the entire wasteland. Like first,
God.
I blew up the town, and I was like, all right, I guess this is
Yup.
my fate.
Yup.
So I just started doing everything evil possible.
I
So wait, you blew up Megaton right at the very beginning of the game. That was the first thing you did.
Yeah,
I did every single quest.
yeah, I did. I was
inside
like,
there, and
oh,
then
okay,
I
I'll
blew
do
that
this. And he's like,
motherfucker up.
we're gonna blow up the town. I'm like, okay, I fucking guess so. If you say so, boss.
You're like, fuck it, all right.
You know what I did?
Fuck, okay.
One of the-
I get more caps and I get a cool apartment.
My first experience I've ever had in Fallout 3, like, you know, an experience where, like, you just, like, it was, like, a really great moment. For no apparent reason, I went up behind that person in front of 10 Penny Tower, the goal, and I pickpocketed him. He had nothing on him, so I got really pissed. And I accidentally pressed the wrong button and put a grenade in there. And it just left the inventory, and I was like, crap. So I ran, because I've heard about something like this happening, and he explodes. I was like,
Yeah, they blow
yeah,
up. Yep.
that's great.
Yeah.
That was probably why people love that game so much, was because no matter what karma level you had, whether you were a good or bad person, like you could do crazy shit like that. You could pickpocket people, like you could steal from them and then throw a grenade in their pocket and then take off, and then I love that game. Fallout 3 was one of my favorite games.
You can pickpocket the armor off of someone, which is amazing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they'll just pickpocket and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'll be like naked, and you're like, "Hey, surprise, motherfucker, you
I
dead."
thought that was a Fallout New Vegas thing, not a Fallout 3 thing. Was it in Fallout 3?
No, you can Fallout 3. You can do that too. But the other thing was, in both games, you could put a bucket on someone's head and steal all their shit and not lose any karma.
What?
Yeah, it's. I know for a fact you could do this in New Vegas. I didn't try it in Fallout 3, but I know in New Vegas you could do this. There's a scene in the storyline
God.
where you go towards this ammo shop and you can't steal anything, and the only way you can buy the stuff is if you join their faction or whatever. But the workaround, the glitch in it is you drag a bucket into the game, put it on the girl's head, and then you could just steal everything right in front of her, and you won't lose.
Wait,
any
do you mean the
karma.
Brotherhood of
You won't
Steel?
get attacked at all.
Do you mean the Brotherhood?
No, it wasn't Brotherhood of Steel. That shop that's in in South New Vegas, that's in the little shitty district. I forgot the name of it's a brother sister duo that own this weapons shop.
All right, I'm just gonna rally off the
Freeside.
names. There's NCR.
Van
there's the
Graffs, I
Kings.
remember.
Yeah, you could put a bucket on her head,
Ah.
and you could steal all the weapons.
Seriously, I just. There's a lot of guards in there.
You just did everything else.
There's a lot of guards in there. I just put on a freaking stealth boy, and they can't see you. No matter what your stealth is, you can just put on a stealth boy and you can steal everything off the shelves. You get no ammo from it, but like, it's great.
If you do one of the quests where you have to like go to the door or something, there's a guy that will walk up and he has like a bomb on him. So if you let him through, he'll explode and kill everyone in there, and then you can just loot what's left.
I actually pickpocketed him.
I did that completely on accident. I'm like, oh yeah, you can go through, and then it's like kaboom, and you're like, oh, well,
Oh yeah,
I guess I'm out of a job.
when you have the bouncer job. I remember
You can
that
actually
now. I didn't do
pickpocket
that.
him and take the bomb away though.
Yeah.
So he walks in and he gets completely fucked, and he'll be like, and he'll stop and he'll go, oh fuck, and you'll see him run out. Like he'll go in, but he'll run back out and he'll get shot by the other dude next to you. It's pretty funny. It's probably as comical as like the freaking holy hand grenade of Antioch that you find in one of the basements of the churches.
There was a quest where you had to kill one of the guys that pretends to be Elvis, and you had to do it sort of sneakily, which you can just plant a mine or something in his pocket, and I tried that like 20 times. I think I like put a mine by his bed when he went to bed, and like hoped that would take him out, but it didn't.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like crippled his leg.
The great con leader, when you're trying to get them to side with the NCR, oh my god, killing the great con leader was the stupidest shit I've ever seen. I literally walked up to him with a power fist. I crouched on his bed while he was sleeping, after sneaking in the back door, and I punched him straight in the face. He dies, nobody cares. I walk out of the building, nobody cares. It's nighttime, and I want to walk back to where I need to go, so I'm gonna walk back. So I wait a good like 12 hours, or it was like 6 hours maybe, and then when I'm walking back and I'm like about to leave the place, they instantly all are just right there, and they're all pissed at me, and they start shooting at me. I died rather fast. I don't think.
Oh, did anyone get this glitch in Fallout 3 that makes me think it was Paradise Falls, and like I allied with them, and they were like my friends, and I'd be like walking around in Paradise Falls, and then they just shoot me for no reason.
Yeah, there's so many places.
Like walking like, hey, how's it going? And then like, bam, my head's gone.
Yeah, you didn't have required swag level.
They didn't like the way you were walking.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what? After
I was
this,
like, hey,
I'm gonna
hey,
go
how's it
install
going, dude?
Fallout
Hey,
3
what's
later.
up?
Maybe if you threw a few
Kablam, and then
YOLOs
my head
around.
would be gone. I'm like, oh, I'm
If
dead.
you threw a few YOLOs around and had probably said Cali Swag District a few times, you would have been fine, but you didn't. So you died.
How could you have waved?
Oh,
I'm gonna
one
have to
last
play
thing to
Fallout
say
3
about
again.
Fallout. Yeah, one last thing to say about Fallout New Vegas. It kind of annoys me that you only get like a certain set amount of endings. Like I tried to get the whole Robot army and side with the NCR at the same time because I'm like, hey, the NCR would probably like an army of robots. And then they're just like, oh my god, you have an army of robots. We're gonna have to fucking kill you because that is not acceptable within the wasteland. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess the wasteland's mine. I guess I own New Vegas now.
You're like, well, fuck it. I guess I'm gonna kill everybody then. All right.
Yeah, I guess. All right, fine. You guys fired me. I guess that makes sense. So whatever. They're lost.
I liked Fallout 3, New Vegas. I thought Fallout 3 had a better ending overall.
I hated Fallout 3's ending.
Vegas.
It was horrible. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I could
Why
not
didn't you
continue
like
the
it?
story.
What didn't you like about it?
Yeah.
I couldn't continue the story. It just stops.
You didn't
You're
like
done.
it because the game was over.
What about Broken Steel?
I don't. What?
Broken Steel,
What's that?
the DLC for Fallout
Oh,
3.
I
There's
don't.
a
I
lot
don't
of
play much
DLCs.
DLCs.
A lot-
I don't have
there's a couple.
internet. I don't have internet at home. I don't get DLCs.
Oh, well, that might be. Does that expansion extend the main quest?
No, it's a separate quest, isn't it?
I don't know. No clue.
I know it continues the main story, assuming you're still talking about Broken Steel because you lagged out. But yeah, Broken Steel continues the story and it goes to like a completely new area. That's pretty cool.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Is that the Pittsburgh one? The Pittsburgh DLC.
The what?
Pittsburgh DLC.
No, that's the pit.
Oh fuck. Well, I know there's a lot of DLCs for that game, so
Broken Steel is like
there's a fucking.
an Air Force base where you have to
I know of 4 DLCs.
destroy
now.
the last remnants of the Enclave.
Yeah, there's the fucking the pit, Broken Steel, the freaking zombie one, and then the freaking alien one. Alien one was really cool. That's the one I actually played. Freaking give me a Gauss rifle. That shit was so cool. At the time, it was cool. Then you get a New Vegas.
Yeah, it was.
Then you get a New Vegas, and you're like stealing from the Brotherhood. Use the weapon and go, wow, I cannot kill shit with this thing. Also, New Vegas.
Oh, the Alien Blaster? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the alien.
I was talking about the Gauss
That bad
rifle.
boy was
Let's
awesome.
talk about that Gauss rifle thing that you get in the spaceship.
Oh, the Gauss rifle. I got you.
And in New Vegas.
Oh, and
In New Vegas, it was horrible. And in New Vegas,
In Broken Steel, you get this.
Wait, what do you get?
In Broken Steel, you get this weapon called the Tesla something or another. But you know those freaky helicopters that the Enclaves use? If you use the Tesla whatever it is on it, it will just like instantly explode. It's one of the most satisfying things ever to see.
That does sound
It's
really
like
satisfying.
zap, and then it just vaporizes.
I remember shooting mini nukes at those fucking things, and
Yeah,
they
it's
just
cool.
live. So fun things in Fallout 3 to do. Jump
Yeah.
off the highest building you can, and when you're about to hit the ground, you save the game and reload it, and you survive. Magic.
Huh.
It's really cool. People,
We'll have to try.
yeah, people have always tried to find ways of jumping off things and surviving, like to get around faster, like jumping off the 10-penny tower. Someone found like this way to use VATS and a melee weapon to survive the fall, but you have to time it so perfectly. But then I found a way. There doesn't even have to be anyone around. Magic.
I've been playing around in the Fallout developer console, which is why I made that one journal about me being like 10 feet, like 10 stories tall. Like that is the most fun thing ever as far as the PC version of Fallout. It's just like going in and being like, player,
Yeah,
set
but I've
scale
seen-
10, and then just running like 100 miles an hour as you.
I've seen
Super speed.
I've seen games like not Skyrim. There's this game called Two Worlds, the first Two Worlds. You can mess around with the developer stuff and that, but if you made your person really tall and they jumped, the jumping is to scale with your height. So he kind of jumped 20,000 feet in the air, and you're falling 20,000 feet rather quickly, and you just die instantly.
Yeah, it does the same thing.
Skyrim 1.
If you use the developer console in
not Skyrim.
Fallout,
Oblivion.
Wow.
Why did I say Skyrim
you like
1?
stub your toe and explode.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. There was a glitch where you can put on infinite rings using enchantings. Some enchanting thing. But you can put on like infinite rings, so you can make yourself infinitely invisible, like 100%. So you can just walk around, no one's gonna see you. Completely resistant to fire or damage or anything.
Oh wow.
Or you can raise your
Yeah, I didn't
agility
find that out.
1,000-fold and jump 20,000 feet in the air, which I used to travel quite a bit. But the problem was, once you jumped, you're going to die. There's no way to survive it.
That's unfortunate.
You think? Yeah, I completed this quest. Oh well.
So now that we've actually gone on for a while, I think we probably should wrap it up.
Yeah, I think it's about a good point of wrapping up, gentlemen.
Good
And
hour.
so
Was that an hour and 19?
it's about 1:15.
Oh, alright.
So I will close with saying that the forums thread at yahoo.com is always open for whatever.
Or you can message Nobot on Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, whatever you feel like doing.
And for the Rooster Teeth listeners, the fans that are listeners, shoot us the emails also. I think several of us will be at RTX, so
Oh
we
yeah.
definitely have plans to hang out and enjoy things
And
with
I
all
just
the
got
other
my
fans.
I just got my custom AH shirt, so I'm gonna be wearing it. It has my gamer tag on the back.
Awesome. Give me
deal.
one. No, you think I'm
Dark
kidding.
was the one that.
You're laughing, but
I can't wait to see this podcast in a month.
why?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, RTX podcast is going to be amazing. The 4 and Third podcast guys will be doing a podcast at RTX. I'm saying it.
Yes,
I'm
we
saying
will.
it on recording right now. That means we have to.
And
And
we're
one
gonna
more.
cut Nobot off.
But I can see that happening.
We'll start
we might do
making
a,
arrangements on how we're gonna want to handle that.
We might do a video one.
While eating
Just have a
sushi.
webcam recording while we all are still doing audio the same way.
While we're eating sushi. Alright, now let's wrap it up.
All right,
Yeah, just
gentlemen.
record
Well,
the video and sync the audio
All
to it.
right.
It's not a big fucking deal.
with that said, it's time to wrap things up. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks you guys once again for the long, great discussion on the various topics, including the Xbox, which we may love, may hate. But
Love, all the way, love.
all right.
And
Well,
I'm gonna lick my
I can say
bye.
goodbye, everybody. Have a good night.
Hey, wait! Don't end yet. I'm gonna. Don't.